We all crave change at some point in our lives. Whether it's the nagging feeling that we aren't living up to our potential or the weight of daily stresses pushing us towards self-improvement, the desire to become better, to evolve, is universal. But how often do we think that true, lasting transformation requires years of painstaking effort, countless sacrifices, and maybe even a stroke of luck? I used to believe that too, until I encountered Stoicism. In just 1 week, I adopted 5 habits rooted in the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, and it completely changed the way I live. Yes, only 7 days. I'm sure you're thinking, that's impossible. How can anyone change their life so quickly? But here's the truth. Transformation is more about consistency and mindset than the length of time. I didn't change overnight, but by incorporating these habits into my daily life, I built a foundation that has kept me grounded, focused, and more at peace with myself. Like and subscribe and watch till the end. 1. Morning reflection. Win the day before it begins. Every morning used to feel like a race. Wake up, scramble through a routine, glance at my phone and rush out the door, hoping I hadn't forgotten something important. It left me feeling disoriented and frazzled, like I was constantly playing catch-up. Stoicism taught me a different way to start my day. Instead of diving straight into the chaos, I now take 10 to 15 minutes to reflect before I do anything else. I ask myself questions like, what can I expect from today? What obstacles might come my way? How can I be the best version of myself today? This practice comes straight from Marcus Aurelius, who used to meditate on these questions each morning, preparing his mind for whatever life might throw at him. On the first day I tried this, I felt something shift. Instead of reacting to the world, I became intentional. I wasn't just bracing myself for challenges, I was anticipating them and preparing my response. The impact was immediate. I felt calmer, more focused, and more in control of my day. Now my mornings are my time to set the tone for the entire day ahead. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to face life with clarity and calmness, no matter what comes your way? Morning reflection brings that sense of purpose into your routine, where you're no longer a victim of the day's demands, but a leader navigating your journey with confidence. 2. Embrace discomfort. Growth comes from struggle. We've all heard the saying, no pain, no gain, but how many of us actually lean into discomfort? If you're like I was, the natural instinct is to avoid anything unpleasant. Hard conversations? I'll do it tomorrow. Going to the gym when I'm tired? Maybe next week. The Stoics taught me that discomfort isn't something to run away from, it's something to embrace. During that week of transformation, I made a decision. I would tackle one thing that made me uncomfortable every day. From having a difficult conversation with a colleague to waking up an hour earlier to squeeze in a morning workout, I faced discomfort head-on. And each time, I noticed something remarkable. By facing what I feared, I grew stronger, more resilient. Take the story of Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher born into slavery. His life was filled with hardships, yet he never used his circumstances as an excuse to give up. Instead, he viewed every challenge as an opportunity to grow. This mindset helped me reframe my own struggles. Instead of seeing discomfort as something negative, I began to view it as a pathway to growth. After a week of pushing myself out of my comfort zone, I started to crave challenges instead of avoiding them. What might happen if you leaned into your discomfort? How much stronger, wiser, or more capable could you become? The answer lies just outside your comfort zone. 3. Focus on what you can control. Let go of the rest. If there's one thing that plagued me for years, It was worrying about things I had no control over, whether it was stressing over other people's opinions, the weather ruining my plans, or even events from the past. I wasted an incredible amount of energy on things beyond my influence. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is learning to distinguish between what's within your control and what's not. Marcus Aurelius himself often reflected on this, writing, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The Stoics believed that by focusing only on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and responses, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. On the first day of practicing this habit, I wrote down 2 lists: things I could control and things I couldn't. As simple as it sounds, seeing it laid out like that was powerful. Every time my mind started to spiral into worry about something beyond my control, I consciously reminded myself, this is not up to me. And you know what? That mental shift was liberating. By the end of the week, my mind felt clearer. I wasn't bogged down by worries that I had no power over. Instead, I was focused on what I could do, how I could respond. It brought a sense of peace and clarity that I hadn't experienced in a long time. Have you ever thought about how much time you spend worrying about things that aren't in your control? Imagine how much lighter and more focused your life could be if you let those worries go. Practice gratitude. Appreciate the small things. Gratitude is one of those things that sounds cliché until you actually start doing it. I used to take the good things in my life for granted, always focused on what wasn't going well or what I didn't have. But Stoicism taught me that gratitude isn't just about feeling thankful when things go well. It's about appreciating the present moment, no matter what. Seneca, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, believed that gratitude was key to a fulfilled life. He once wrote, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart." Inspired by this, I started keeping a gratitude journal during my 1-week transformation. Every evening, I would jot down 3 things I was grateful for that day. It didn't have to be anything monumental. Often it was as simple as enjoying a good meal or having a pleasant conversation. The effect was immediate. By the end of the week, I started noticing more things to be thankful for throughout my day. It shifted my focus from what was lacking in my life to what was abundant. Gratitude transformed my perspective, making me realize how much beauty and joy I had been overlooking. How often do we get caught up in what's missing from our lives, instead of appreciating what's already there? What if the key to a more fulfilling life isn't adding more, but noticing what you already have? 5. Daily self-discipline. Control your desires. The Stoics believed that true freedom comes from self-discipline, specifically the ability to control your desires. This doesn't mean denying yourself every pleasure, but it does mean practicing moderation and exercising control over impulses. For years, I struggled with this, whether it was indulging in junk food, procrastinating, or getting distracted by social media. I often let my impulses dictate my actions. But during that transformative week, I decided to regain control. Inspired by Stoicism, I set small but achievable goals each day. Instead of scrolling through my phone for an hour in the morning, I limited myself to 5 minutes. Instead of grabbing that extra dessert, I opted for something healthier. What surprised me was how good it felt to exercise control. Each small victory fueled my sense of accomplishment. By the end of the week, I had more energy, more focus, and a stronger sense of self-discipline. I wasn't a slave to my desires anymore. I was in control. Imagine how much power you could unlock in your life if you mastered the art of self-discipline. What could you achieve if your actions aligned with your long-term goals instead of short-term impulses? the transformation continues. In just 1 week, these 5 habits, morning reflection, embracing discomfort, focusing on what I can control, practicing gratitude, and daily self-discipline, changed my life. I went from feeling overwhelmed, scattered, and reactive to being more centered, focused, and in control. But it didn't stop there. These habits became the foundation for long-term change. Each day since that week has been an opportunity to build on that transformation, to continue growing and evolving. It's easy to think that change has to be difficult or take a long time. But the truth is, real transformation can begin the moment you decide to make it happen. 1 week is enough to plant the seeds of a new you. So the question is, are you ready to transform? Are you ready to take control of your life and live with more purpose, discipline, and gratitude? If so, the journey starts now. With just a few small but powerful habits, you can change your life in ways you never thought possible. Why wait?